What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'm going to go over all my bets so far for UFC Vegas 56, Volkov versus Rozenstruik. First things first, please hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and also don't forget to hit those notifications so you don't miss out on any of my new videos or live streams. So UFC Vegas 55 was a couple weeks ago now, and it seems like forever, but we finally have fights back this weekend. But I ended up going 7-2 on my bets, winning plus 7.65 units profit. And I know I already went over this a few times in my earlier videos, but if Holly Holm would have won, I would have had a legendary night and I would have ended up plus 6 units more than that. But hey, I can't complain whatsoever, and hopefully I can replicate last fight card with this one. So without further ado, let's jump into my bets so far for UFC Vegas 56. So the first bet I have is a 2-leg parlay. I bet 1 unit on the over 2.5 rounds in the Blanchfield-Aldridge fight and Saint Denis to win, and I got that at plus 123. So with most women's MMA fights, I do think this fight will go the distance. Both fighters do have a couple finishes in their careers, and if there is a finish in this fight, I do see it being Blanchfield, and it's probably going to be like a 3rd round finish. So if that's the case, let's hope it's over 2.5 minutes in the 3rd round. But like I said, it's a women's MMA fight. Most of them go to decision, so I'm going to say this one goes the distance. And with Saint Denis, I just think he's going to be the better fighter here. He's definitely going to have the better wrestling and the better grappling. On the feet, it is going to be a little bit closer, but I think Stoltz is a little too hittable for being a kickboxer, and Saint Denis does have good power in his hands as well. But I do think Saint Denis is going to be able to get this fight to the mat somehow and eventually wrap up a submission, maybe in the 1st round or 2nd round. The next bet I have is a 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1 unit on Selecki and Osborne to win, and I got that at plus 148. All right, so this parlay, I will admit, it's going to be a little risky and I'll be sweating for probably both these legs. But nevertheless, I do like Selecki to get the win here. I think he's going to have the grappling advantage and potentially the wrestling advantage as well. I know in Selecki's last fight against Jared Gordon, he looked like he was going to get a submission in the 1st round, but I think he kind of gassed himself out, so that's why he kind of looked a little labored in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. I will say though, if this fight is played out on the feet, I will be sweating it even more because I do think Da Silva has the little bit better striking, but Selecki does like to set up his takedowns with his striking, so he likes to do the 1-2 combo and then go for a takedown and level change. So if he can do that a couple times here and there, I think he should be able to get a decision win at the very least. And with Osborne, again, I just think he's going to be the better fighter in this matchup. I think he's the more explosive guy. He's going to have the better striking. He's going to have the knockout power. And not to mention, he's going to be 2 inches taller and have a 7-inch reach advantage. Although Adeshev does have good cardio, and he's kind of a tough guy, but I do think Osborne will eventually get the knockout, maybe in the 1st or 2nd round. But if the fight does get to the 3rd round, again, I'll be sweating it a bit because Osborne tends to tail off with his cardio in the 3rd round too. So either way, I like Osborne to win by decision or a knockout. The 3rd bet I have is an over-under parlay. I bet 1.25 units on the under 1.5 rounds in the Menefield-Mazarov fight and the over 2.5 rounds in the Herrig-Kowalkiewicz fight, and I got that at plus 104. So in the Menefield-Mazarov fight, I don't see this fight going past the 1st round because both guys have power, and Mazarov is a crazy dude. He's a killer be killed guy. I think he's just going to go in there guns blazing, try to get the knockout early. And with Menefield, there's just nothing really super special about him, but he has about 1 round of cardio in him too. And if he gets caught in a firefight, he is a little chinny. So I can see him getting knocked out early, or Menefield potentially getting a takedown and maybe wrapping up a submission, kind of like he did with Fabio Cherant. So either way, under 1.5 rounds is the play for me. And in the Herrig-Kowalkiewicz fight, all I'm going to say is women's MMA, low-level fight, and both fighters are not finishers whatsoever. I don't want to really get into this one because, again, what I just said, I mean, this to me, it's an easy no-brainer decision, right? The next bet I have is another 2-fighter parlay. I bet 1.25 units on Evloev and Molina, and I got that at plus 116. So this is one of my most confident parlays of the night. With Evloev, I know he's not a finisher, but he's going to have a massive wrestling advantage here. And for me, if he can use his wrestling, even if it's just a mix in a couple takedowns here and there, I think he's going to be able to wrestle Ige all day long. And if the fight plays out on the feet, that's where I'll be sweating, because Ige has a puncher's chance to knock out Evloev because he has really good boxing. But then again, Evloev has good striking himself, but his clear path to victory for me is to get this fight to the mat with his wrestling and just grind out a decision here. And with Molina, again, he's going to be the more technical striker and probably have more power as well. Zhumagulov can be a little bit dangerous in the first round with submission attempts and guillotines, and he does do a couple flying knees and stuff, but Molina's going to be too good for that. He actually gets stronger as the fight goes with his cardio. For me, I think Molina's going to be able to piece him up on the feet and maybe even get a late third round finish or decision win here. And last but not least, I have a 3-fighter parlay. I bet 1 unit on Jackson, Trezano, and Fakhretdinov to win, and I got that at plus 163. For me, Jackson is a monster on the mat. He has got really good wrestling, really good submissions. His striking is pretty good as well, and he's going up against Argueta, who's making his UFC debut on short notice, who is a normal bantamweight, not a featherweight. And he has all disadvantages in the world in this fight. So for me, this is a no-brainer pick for Jackson to win this one. And with Trezano, the biggest thing for me in this fight is Trezano's cardio. Worst case scenario, I can see Trezano losing the first round, but in rounds 2 and 3, I just don't see him losing this fight. He likes to push forward, be in his opponent's face. Almeida is a good striker, but he does tend to slow down as the fight goes on. And I do think this fight will go to decision, and I can see Trezano winning at worst case scenario, 29-28. And with Renat, I know he's making his UFC debut, but I think he's the overall better fighter here. He's going to have a little bit better striking with more power, and I do think he has the better wrestling. Michailidis, though, he's a tough guy. I know he just got KO'd by Pereira, but that guy's a savage, so I'm not even going to take that away from him. But I do see this fight going to decision, and I do think Renat's going to be able to either wrestle a decision or outstrike him by decision. Alright guys, so those are my bets so far for UFC Vegas 56. Thank you everybody for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Don't forget to check back on this video in the comment section for any added bets, or you can check back on my Instagram. I always post them as well. Good luck to everybody who's betting this weekend, and until next time, happy fight night.